Hey there, gang. Welcome back. Well, really more like welcome back to me, because as you're probably aware, I haven't put out much content in the last year. But as you can see, Sean and Lisa have built a home. I found it really difficult to, manage a build, watch everything be done, film, edit, all that sort of stuff. I did a lot of stuff on Instagram, so if you're, wanting an update to follow along from the day we started, clearing the lot to, current day, check out our Instagram channel. It is Sean and Lisa Build a Home. But we are back, and we're back where we belong here on YouTube, and we're back doing what I love. We're going to start back focusing on things like tractors, chainsaws, tools, machinery, and getting jobs done. And today we're going to focus on this. This is my Land Pride box blade, and we're going to do some work on our local road. So stick around and let's see what happens. All right, so as you guys are aware, my favorite tool that I have is this Kubota B2601. I've owned it for 2.5 years now, probably. I've got just shy of 200 hours on it. I've used it to do everything from moving logs with the grapple, grading our lot, using the backhoe to dig trenches, to move rocks, to build flower beds, you name it, and I've done it with this. I've built driveways and all sorts of stuff. And one of the things that I've actually found has been a really fantastic tool is this Land Pride box blade. It's the 5-foot box blade, and on our private road here there is a ton of potholes. It's getting beat up. It's horrible, actually, because of the amount of work that's been done in our neighborhood, and there are now probably about 7 homes actually under construction on this point. And so we have countless, triaxle dump trucks, we have concrete deliveries, you name it, and it is beating up that road. So I like to go out every once in a while and try and fix up the potholes. And I've actually done a considerable amount of work doing that over the last week and a half. I've been out numerous times on a semi-daily basis, actually doing different sections of the road. And today we're going to head back out and do a little more. This thing is fantastic because it basically works in 2 ways. We have the tines or rippers here that we're going to put down. We're going to tear the road up, basically. We're going to dig up all the gravel, bring those fines in the gravel back up to the surface. Then we're going to raise those tines and use the box blade to basically level everything out and grade it out nice. Okay, so we're going to get it all fueled up and everything, but the first thing we're going to do is set these scarifiers or these tines down to the right level. So when they're in the up position, they really don't touch the ground, which is the purpose. But what we want to do, our first pass is always going to be to tear up that ground, get that gravel loosened up so that we can, in essence, regrade everything. So really all you do is, I use a set of pliers, pinch these little clips out, and then lower the scarifier down the entire way. This is actually the clip. I'm not sure what you would really call it. I call it a pinch pin because I just literally squeeze it to pull it out and squeeze it to put it back in. So the very first thing we'll do is we'll go along and we're going to lower all of these scarifiers to its lowest position, because this roadway is as I said, it's really bad, so we've got to rip it up really good to be able to regrade it. I know there are different versions of scarifiers on certain box blades. Some of them just simply have a cotter pin, basically, that you pull out. These are a little bit time consuming, but really not that bad. I always keep these pliers in the small toolbox on the armrest of my tractor, and we go from there. Okay, so just to give you a really quick, more detailed overlook of this. Obviously, 3-point hitch setup. This big box, that's why it's called a box blade. These are the scarifiers I was talking about. That's job is to rip up the gravel and everything. And then you have a blade inside the box, and you have one on the outside of the box. And simply, what happens are, as you go over the ground, rip it up, the excess material gets held in this box, and it will actually fill up this box and then slowly be let out however high you set the box blade. It has this nice cutting edge to keep everything nice and level. It has the other one on the outside because you can actually back up and use the rear of the tractor to spread things as well. So basically what I like to do is I like to go along with the scarifiers down, tear up the roadway, raise them back up, grade everything out, get it nice and smooth, and then I just use the loader and do some back dragging to do any of the final touches. All right, so this is actually a pretty good section of the road. These are small potholes that have actually, one of the other neighbors did a great job filling them in just as a temporary fix. But we're gonna rip this all up and make it like a new road. All right, so the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna make a bunch of passes back and forth with those scarifiers down, and we're gonna basically destroy the road. It's hard packed. None of the fines are really on the surface anymore. And what we need to do is get that all brought back up. Could you do this with some other piece of equipment? Yes. Could you just use your loader bucket? Well, yeah, I guess you could. Could you just fill in those holes with gravel? You could, but what ends up happening is that gravel, as it's driven over, usually just gets pushed back out of that hole. So basically what we're doing is eliminating the hole altogether. We're gonna tear up all that gravel, then we're gonna put that box blade down, and then we're gonna smooth it all out. Better if you just watch. You want to keep in mind too, I do some straight passes, and then when I get most of it ripped up a bit, then I start doing a bunch of S turns so that I really get it ripped up nice and evenly. As you can see, those tines do a great job of ripping everything up, because over here, where I didn't touch, is hard packed. This just brings everything back up to the surface so you can get a good grade on it. Simply, the next step is just putting those tines back up and redoing it with just the box blade. So as you can see, it really doesn't take a lot on a small area like this. I've been doing some really large sections of the road, and it definitely does take a lot longer. This section was easy to rip up. It wasn't quite as hard packed, so, but it does work really well. A couple other things to keep in mind. What I'm gonna do now is I'm just gonna use the loader bucket and just do some back dragging just to smooth everything else out and pack it down as best I can. But you can also, with the adjustments on your box blade, on your 3-point hitch, you can put that either level, which is what I have it right now, or you can canter it and put it off level a bit in case you want to put a crown on your road, which typically we would want to do that. But right now we're just doing some very fast, quick fixes on this stuff because the road is supposed to get graded and topped eventually. This is just basically to keep myself and all my neighbors from falling in a pothole at a site. And then the last thing I usually do is just go along and pick up any of the big stones that have been turned up from the base and just chuck them off in the ditches so that nothing, you know, punctures a tire or anything like that. And there you have it, freshly graded and fixed. No more potholes. Now, it would be nice to be able to top this with more gravel, but like I said, we're gonna, as a neighborhood, get that fixed at some point. And it would be lovely to be able to pack this with a roller, but at this point, this is just a temporary fix until you know, the big fix, whenever that's going to happen, happens. So I'm glad to be back. I'm glad you were here. Thanks so much for following the channel. If you like today's video, please give it a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe, hit the little bell so you know when I post my next video. And we're going to get doing some pretty serious tractor work here in the next few weeks. So stick around and you have a great day.